It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, it's two for the price of one, as we welcome a pair of ballers making their mark overseas. After stellar college careers, they spent several years in the NBA before they joined forces in the UK. These gentlemen both signed with the UK champion London Lions this past summer in the British Basketball League. Joining us from across the pond on this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN are Lion stars Byron Mullens and DeAndre Liggins. And they do so right now with your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope you all had a fantastic week. Thanks so much for joining me on another brand new edition of Listen In with KNN, presented by Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Lots to talk about in the sports world. Happy College Football Saturday. We're going to be talking about, yes, the NBA Finals last night, as I know many of us are probably still with our jaws dropped after seeing last night's game. And then I'm excited to be welcoming two basketball stars from across the pond from the UK who will be joining me to talk the latest and greatest in basketball. They are none other than former NBA players Byron Mullens and DeAndre Liggins. They are of the UK champions, the London Lions. They're going to discuss their forthcoming season and the British Basketball League and the Basketball Champions League. So very excited to have them on. I truly appreciate them joining the show, especially with the time difference. So let's give them a warm welcome to DC. Very excited to welcome them both on. I will first bring on Byron Mullens. Byron, how are you today?
Doing good.
I'm so glad for you that you joined me. Very excited to have you on. And I'll also bring on DeAndre Liggins. DeAndre, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you both for joining me. First off, I like to do a wellness check with my guests. Are you guys both doing okay? I know COVID-19 obviously changed a lot, right? With how you all probably are prepping and preparing for basketball. But I'll start with you, Byron. How has everything been? I know you're expecting a new little one, right?
That's right. Everything's been good here so far. Pretty much the same as it is back home. Besides the weather, it likes to rain here a lot. So, but yeah, I'm expecting a little boy. We just got our new due date of December 26th.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we're looking forward to that.
Very exciting. It's always nice to welcome in a little one to the family. And next I'll go over to you, DeAndre. Tell us, how's everything with you? What's new with you?
Nothing new. Just trying to get healthy, trying to join forces back with the team and regroup, get ready for the season, October 30th. And speaking of London, I'm enjoying London, so I love it here, It reminds me of Chicago so much, so I love it here.
That's good to hear, because that was my question for you all before we talk about that new start date that I was very excited to hear about. But DeAndre, you said it's very similar to Chicago. So has the transition to you for London, it's been pretty smooth and easy, it sounds like, right? Not too much of a culture shock or change for you?
Not really. I mean, it's the same type of food, the same environment, kind of. Everybody speak English here. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable here,
What's the best food that you've had since you've been over there?
Nothing spectacular, but it's simple. before I get in the station.
All right, I will take that. And Byron, I know for you it's not much of a change because your mother is British, right?
That's right. Yeah, she's from Middlesex, England. So it's just about maybe a 2-hour drive from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's it meant for you then to represent now that your mother's country, her home country, playing for the London Lions?
Yeah, this is great. This is something I've been looking forward to since 2012, really. We're playing with the Great Britain national team, and then in 2016 as well. Just some things didn't fall in order for those things to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be out here and playing in London. So I'm also looking forward to the qualifying games coming up in November.
Yeah, very exciting times. And for you both, I'll start with you, Byron, since you kicked it off. Talk about just the growth of basketball in London and what you see it kind of going towards in the future.
Yes, for sure. Everything that we're hearing is, basketball is not that really big of a deal out here yet. It's growing, obviously. It's not, obviously the big sport out here is football,
right,
or soccer as we know it back home. So, no, so we're just trying to do big things out here. We got a really good team, a lot of really good athletes on this squad. So, unfortunately, we lost our game in the BCL tournament that we played in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
But we also got the FIBA Euro Cup coming up in January now. It got pushed back. So we're looking to win that and then join the BCL, then hopefully, join the EuroLeague.
Yeah, all very exciting. And DeAndre, you touched on it. We now know there's a new start date for the 2020-21 season, which is October 30th. When you first heard that news, DeAndre, what was going through your head?
Me, myself, hopefully I'll be able to play the first game.
Yeah, we want you to get it back better.
It's very exciting to have a date where we start, where we know we can come in, and what we need to focus on in practice. So that's a big deal, knowing when we start, knowing what we have to look forward to.
Yeah, and just for you both, talk about how COVID-19 hit you and how you were still able to prepare and get ready for a new basketball season. I'll start with you, Byron, on that one, because I know obviously COVID-19 and shutdown was different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're blessed to have a job right now. I mean, a lot of places are still not playing basketball, but a lot of places back home are still not. There's people that are working that their livelihood is completely changed. And for me and DeAndre and the rest of the team out here, it's kind of scary because, like I said, we were supposed to start on the 1st of October or the 2nd of October,
right.
And then it got, the season got pushed back, and nobody knew what time or what date the season was even going to start. We just heard yesterday that, October 30th is the start date, and the government kind of stepped in and helped these teams out with financial help. But like I said, we're blessed and lucky to have a job right now, and with this whole COVID thing, because it's serious. I mean, it's not just, people getting sick, or it's people, losing their job, and it goes farther than that. I mean, people that need to pay bills and stuff like that are losing a lot of stuff.
Right. It's a hard time for many of us. And of course, as I'm sure you guys are both still attached to what's happening here in the States, in addition to fighting COVID-19, we've also seen this wave of social unrest, right? And the fight for social justice. And I understand it's Black History Month in the UK. So it's exciting to see that you guys still celebrate that. So DeAndre, for you, as you've seen all that's transpired here in the United States with the Black Lives Matter movement and what's happened after the death of George Floyd, what has that meant for you playing in London? How do you think you've been still able to stand with your brothers here back in the UK, back in the USA, and your brothers here in the NBA?
I mean, social media is a big deal, staying connected, saying what players have to say, players such as LeBron and the big names in the NBA, Chris Paul. They're doing a great job of standing by what's going on today with George Floyd. And you see the new news that the person who killed them got released from jail. So that's new news, and we don't know how that's going to play out, with the riots and all that. But I think players who's been stepping up, such as LeBron, need to continue to do that. Even the NBA owners need to step forward and voice their opinion.
Yeah, and I appreciate you touching on that. And Byron, same thing for you. I mean, what's it been like to see kind of what's been happening here in the States? And if you can share any insight into how athletes in Britain, in the UK, have been trying to kind of join this movement too with Black Lives Matter and trying to bring hopefully an end to just, police brutality, unjust.
Yeah, like DeAndre said, I mean, people got to use their voice, especially the big stars and people that got a big following. They got to speak up and voice their opinion on things. I mean, the stuff like this has been going on for a very long time, and we're just lucky now that everybody has a camera phone. So everybody can record things now, and a lot of people are seeing what's been going on for a very long time is it's finally coming out. But it's a lot of stuff that I'm not really educated on. Like I didn't know that the people got out of the jail today, DeAndre said, and stuff like that. It's something that I also need to be more educated on. And then the riots back home, it's unfortunate that that the riots are doing so much damage to these cities and stuff. But I think there's definitely people that got to come together for there to be a change. And what way that is, I don't know. It's just it sucks that this is the situation that we've came to.
Yeah, I think it's just hard, but of course we're just hoping for a brighter future. And a question to you both: when you hear people out there, fans out there saying, "We just want you guys to stick to sports and be athletes," what has been your opinion on that? Have you guys been able to respond back to those people on social media, or what would you say to them that they just want you guys to be athletes and just shut up and dribble? I mean, what would your message be to those naysayers? I'll go to you first, DeAndre.
We can't do that. Like players shouldn't do that. That's because athletes getting paid in the NBA millions of dollars that expect us to just get paid and shut up, But that's not right. I mean, it's okay to cancel a game, players' decision because of what's going on. The finals is great, but that's not the main focus in the world right now. But it distracts what's really going on in the world because people turn on the TV and see LeBron James, everything cool. All LeBron James has dunked, but the focus is people's getting killed by the police. So it's we just can't the finals is cool, but me personally, I can't wait till it's over because people need to focus on what's really happening. Because basketball right now, as players would agree in the NBA that basketball shouldn't be played right now. I mean, you see players not coming to the bubble to join their teams to continue to play basketball because of what's going on in the world. So I think right now the finals is cool, but I really can't wait till it's over personally.
Yeah, because we have a bigger game to win as a people, right? In the world. And I think that's so important. And Byron, if you guys as a team, the London Lions, have you guys had any internal talks kind of about what's happening in the world, or how you guys feel? What's that process been like with your teammates and your head coach?
No, we haven't really touched base on that. But to piggyback off what DeAndre said, or what you said with these people telling athletes, kind of shut up and dribble is, as these big star athletes like LeBron, Chris Paul, whatever, we have the pedestal to talk to a lot of people. And we got a big following, or they have a big following to use their voice. And because at the end of the day, basketball is just a game. So it's bigger than that. It's bigger than us. It's our families, and it's our families' families that are going to have to deal with what's going on in this world. So at the end of the day, like I said, basketball is just a game, and these people like LeBron and stuff like that, they have to use their voice because of the followings that we have, and hopefully half their followings can make a change, or go with that to make a change in the world.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, and it's been inspiring to hear you both talk on that and not shy away from it, because again, I think that's how we get stronger together as a whole. And since you guys both mentioned it, we will transition over a little bit to the NBA Finals. We have to talk about it, you guys, because everyone's talking about it on social media. Did you guys watch the game last night?
I tried to, but I can't really tell, with the time difference.
It's hard, but I'm sure you're concerned about it, right?
I manage my sleep during the day to get prepared for a 3 a.m. watch.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think it came on at 2:00 in the morning here. But I thought 100% that the Lakers were going to take it, but so I didn't even stay up to even try to watch it. I just picked it up on the next morning on Instagram or ESPN app or whatever, and was shocked. But man, Miami they're doing their thing. So
yeah, Jimmy Butler. Everyone's talking about Miami still hanging in there, and who knows, right? We're all excited, of course, to see what happens tomorrow night. But everyone's talking about that last shot. Of course, Green. Go ahead, DeAndre.
Miami is kind of a hard-nosed organization, so I don't think they'll be giving up, You
think we're going to see seven games?
I want 7 for sure.
I think we all do, right? We're excited to just have bubble play back, and just what a great finals. But of course, if LeBron is able to get this championship, what do you guys think this will mean for his career and his legacy?
I think I think it would be great for him. Playing in a bubble is hard. I mean, for him, no fans is hard. So him being 35, I think this is a big deal for him to win this championship now because it's probably for what's going on in the world and also COVID-19. So him players being away from their families, I think it's a big deal for him to win now.
Yeah. What about you, Byron?
Yeah, exactly. Piggyback off. I mean, not to repeat what DeAndre said, but same as he said, and then also just for, you also got to think about Laker Nation, and rest in peace, Kobe. Yeah. This is big for Laker Nation to get the championship this year. For that reason also, and for LeBron and to what would this make him 4 for 10? So that goes a long ways too for his career. But I'm a big LeBron fan. He's from Ohio.
Yeah.
He's also going to have the haters as always. Saying that he needed other stars to do it with him. So, but at the end of the day, man, this would be nice for him to get his 4th ring.
It'll be very special. Now, if you guys don't want to take quick live questions from the fans, because everyone wants to talk to you guys. You guys depriving us, of course, you're a USA fan, so we're going to let them chime in. First one is from Cameron Gann. It's for you, DeAndre. He wants to know about your experience on those great Kentucky teams with AD and the team with John Wall, and for both of you, for playing with both of them, what it was like playing with Scott Brooks, KD, Russ, and James Harden in the beginning of that Thunder team. So a very loaded question for you, DeAndre.
I mean, it's a lot of questions.
First talk, start on the part. What was it like playing with AD?
That was the last time I played on New Orleans. AD's that's a fun guy. He's a great dude, first off. Great player. Very funny guy to be around. But I didn't play with him at Kentucky. I left before he did. When I left, he came the next year. But AD's that's a fun guy to be around and a hell of a person,
I like that. Do you want to break down the rest of the question, or was that too loaded? He asked about John Wall.
John Wall, that he's fantastic. He's a guy he's a great leader. Great charisma. He's like a brother to me. Like I can call him, text him anytime. I just hope he recover well from injuries and get back on the court. But that's my brother. I love him. He know that. He's just a great person.
I love that. And then we'll go to the last part of his question. What was it like with Scott Brooks, KD, Russ, and James Harden in the beginning of that Thunder team?
Very competitive. Burgers is a guy. Scotty Brooks, very competitive like me. Even when he played, he was real competitive. He's like that as a coach. KD and Russ, that's self-explanatory dudes. Very, very competitive in practice. Ultra good guys off the court. That organization, first off, OKC is a first-class organization. So I tip my hat off to all them guys.
I like that. Now next, we have one from Jamal Cutler for BJ. From your point of view, what was it like being around the Clippers in the midst of the Donald Sterling controversy?
I was out there a year after the Donald Sterling stuff went on. So I was out there for from 2013, and then when I got traded in 2014 in February. And once they got into the playoffs of that year, that's when all that stuff really came out. I didn't really personally see too much of Donald Sterling at the games or anything like that, so I can't really comment on it. So that's where I leave that at.
Look, we'll leave it there. Appreciate it. They got it though. And I'll take one more from Jamal for you, DeAndre. What was it like seeing the shift in culture firsthand from UK? Ooh, I like that, from your different coaches.
I would say Gillespie, he wasn't like a player's coach. He was a hard-nosed coach, very, very good X&O coach, very competitive. But he just wasn't. He didn't connect well with players, I don't think. And that's why Coach Cal, he's great at that. Great at recruiting, players coach. He gonna tell you what it is. He's real genuine. He will tell you what you need to do to play on the court, to play. And he care about you. Gillespie care about you too, but Coach Kyle really care about you, care about your family, and he wants you to succeed. So that's the difference between them two. They both great coaches, though.
I love that. I love that. And talking about coaches, why don't we talk about the London Lions head coach, Vincent McCulley? What's it been like for you all playing under him? And talk about just how he is as a coach. Is he a player's coach? How are you learning from him? What have you taken away from him? I'll start with you, Byron.
No, Vince is my guy. He's definitely a player's coach.
Yeah.
Ever since the first time I talked to him when I was back home and coming out here to play in London, he's just been real with me from the get-go. But not just on the court stuff. For me personally, is just we have all of our conversations basically is life after basketball for me and him. What's next? What's the next chapter after ball? So Vince to me he's been great. We talk a lot. We talk pretty much every day through text, and obviously we've only played one game under Vince in the BCL, these scrimmages, of course. But he's a very how you say. He's got some great body language to him. So he's very animated that I've seen. So he's been great.
That's awesome to hear. Next, DeAndre, what about you? Your relationship with Vince?
I love Vince. Vince is he's a great person. First off, with a good heart. That's what I noticed about him. He really cares about us players. He's just a hard-nosed coach. He's very intense coaching. I was watching him yesterday in my scrimmage and just watching him. He's very intense. He want to win. So I'm a winner. So I love a coach like that who want to win and want to see individual players be great. So.
I like that. Because going off of that, since you guys both had experience in the NBA, and of course we always are seeing these NBA coaching vacancies, and a lot of times now we shift to what makes a coach, bond and mesh well with players. So for you both, I would love to hear, what do you think makes a great basketball coach? What does it take to get your team to that championship level, to get them to rally behind you, to get them to trust you? I'll start with you, Byron.
I would say just kind of being a leader in the locker room, just coming prepared every day. Me and DeAndre, we were both fortunate to have a great coach, which was in Sioux Falls, and Dan Craig, and I believe DeAndre would even say this too. Dan was on it every day. He came in with a game plan, and we trusted him. He trusted us, and you can kind of just tell the difference between a really good coach who's focused and someone who may not be. I won't say any names, but and players feel that. As soon as we walk in the locker room or get ready for a game, that this guy he knows what he's doing.
I like that. It makes sense.
I would use Dan Craig as an example too. One of my favorite coaches in the world. I ever played. Well prepared coach, well organized. He always thinking basketball off the court. Thinking about how can you make the team better, individual players better. He's a coach with a great disposition. He know what he's doing, and I won't be surprised if he's be a coach in the NBA one day.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on the culture for a number amount of years, and I want to see him succeed, and I think he'll get there.
I like that. It's inspiring, and it's great to hear that you guys believe in him. And of course, we saw the great things that you guys did. And while we're on that, why don't we talk about that? Playing in the G League, you guys were teammates there, obviously teammates now. What lessons did you learn from the NBA G League in playing there that you've taken over and shifted over across the pond to the London Lions? I'll start with you, Byron.
Oh, you guys saw me. No, coming from the NBA down to the G League, it's just kind of like a wake-up call. You kind of see how spoiled you are in the NBA, and you kind of got everything at your fingertips, whether that be food on a plane or weight training or whatever it might have be. I mean, when you're in the G League, you're catching. I remember one time we caught a flight from we was playing down in Rio Grande, Texas, and we played against Rio Grande Vipers, and it was a back-to-back, and then we had to fly back to Tulsa and play. We were basically on the same flight, flying back to Tulsa and playing the same team. I'm like, why? This would never happen in the NBA.
Right.
So it's just kind of like that grind, and you kind of just see how spoiled you have it in the league. And it's even a different grind when you're overseas, obviously, because you're away from your family for, some places where you go, you might be away from your family for 10 months, and it's all like here, it's just like more of a mental game than anything, than physical or whatever. You just kind of got to get through it and just stay mentally, ready, prepared.
I like that. DeAndre?
I would say mental also. I think what you get out of NBA and G League and coming overseas is you have to stay mentally focused and knowing why you're here and what you're trying to achieve and get back to, of course. But you really got to stay focused and
Yeah.
Lock in every day. You see Byron like read books and do stuff like that. That's what you have to do playing in a G League and playing overseas. You might not be where you want to be at, but at the end of the day, you got to know why you're here and try to get better every day.
Trying to get better every day. I'm sure Coach would love to hear that. We all love to hear that because I think us as people, we all should be trying to get better each and every day. And to you both, and I'll start with DeAndre on this one since Byron, I've been calling on you to start on DeAndre, to the fans, I know basketball, I touched on it earlier, is continuing to grow in London, and the British Basketball League is trying to grow, right? We're trying to make sure we have the funds so it can continue. What would you say to fans? What would your pitch be to why they need to support the London Lions and the British Basketball League and the style of play that you all have?
First off, I think we could be a fun team to watch. We still haven't reached our peak yet. We still kind of learning each other. I think once we get to gelling and playing our best basketball, because no one's have seen that yet, I think we'll be a fun team to watch and a fun team for fans to focus on.
I like that. That's a good pitch. It's fun to watch. And you guys haven't reached the peak yet, which people are, that's kind of scary when you think about it. And now I'll head over to you, Byron. What about you? What would your pitch be? Why should we watch? Why should we support?
Yeah, same thing. Seems like I'm just repeating whatever DeAndre says, but no, it's gonna be fun games to watch. Obviously, it sucks because the fans can't be here at the start of the season, but hopefully at some point of the year, the fans can kind of get away from all the COVID stuff that's going on and just for them 2 hours, just kind of forget of the outside world and just come and enjoy themselves and watch a game, whether that be us or any team in the BBL, playing. But no, man, we just had our scrimmage yesterday, and it was just even on the bench or DeAndre just watching on the sideline. It was just fun to watch our guys play, and we're a fast team. We get up and down the floor quick, and it's going to be fun. I mean, I don't know what the score was yesterday, but it was a high scoring game.
Yeah.
And it's just, I know we're tired of practicing against each other because we've been practicing against each other for 2 months now, and we're really looking forward to the season starting.
Very exciting. And since you touched on it, both of you touched on it, I mean, no fans. And that's something that you guys have been playing in front of fans your entire basketball career. Are you guys ready for that shift change? And is there anything cool that they're doing? Are you guys doing crowd noise? Are you virtual fans? Any of that fancy stuff?
No, we didn't do that over here. We don't got the luxuries of the NBA bubble. But no, man, it's very quiet in the gym, and it's you definitely got to bring your own energy. And, you obviously you hear everything that's going on, so you can really tell who's talking on defense and who's not, but it's definitely weird. It's different. We've played for, this is my 12th season. So
yeah.
I remember playing my first game with no fans was out in Izmir, Turkey. And it was just because they canceled the fans because they were too crazy. They were throwing stuff on the court and stuff. So, but it was a different type of game. It just kind of felt like practice.
Yeah.
So it's, like I said, you gotta definitely bring your own energy.
Bring your own energy. Would you agree, DeAndre? Same thing without playing without fans?
I would agree. We know who's not talking and who is talking on defense, offense like that. You hear Vince hollering more.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of stuff you don't hear like when fans in the crowd and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird, but it also helps our team with camaraderie and stuff like that. So it's kind of good and bad,
Yeah, I mean, positives and negatives of everything. But of course, the fans will be excited when they can come back and watch you all in person. And going off of that, I really want to make sure we break down the London Lions team to this USA audience, especially here in DC. I'll go to you first, DeAndre. How would you describe the identity of this current London Lions team?
I think we're a defensive first team. We're very athletic. We haven't really showed that yet. I don't think even. The BCL game, we didn't show that. I think we could show a lot more than what we've been showing, and we will. But I just think more practice time and preparation will be prepared.
Yeah. And I'll switch it a little bit for you, Byron. What makes this team just so special? How have you been able to bond and mesh with your teammates for this?
No, it's a very special team. I've said this before. You can take any of these guys and put them on a team by themselves, and everybody would probably average 20 points. And like DeAndre said, trying to get all these guys together and gel and figure out, okay, we know you can score 20 every night,
right?
But now, what else can you do besides score? And like DeAndre said, we're a very good defensive team. We can spread the floor on offense, 1 through 5, everybody. And like I said earlier, it's just a fast-paced team that's going to get up and go and get up and down the court quick.
I love that. And then just going off of that, Byron, I know you have basically reaffirmed your intent to play for Great Britain, starting as early maybe as November, the next Euro basketball 2021 qualifying window. What's that meant?
No, it's big time for me because I tried to play last year in February for the team, but I was in South Korea at the time, and our organization out there really didn't want me to play. And so they kind of gave me the scenario, oh, if you can either go play or you can go home and be with your family. So obviously I picked to go home and be with my family at that time. But now that I'm out here and Vince understands the importance of playing for GB. Yeah. As of right now, we got 2 qualifying games in November, towards the end of November against France and Montenegro, I believe. As of right now, the games are going to be held in France in a bubble situation. So I'm really looking forward to finally, putting on that Great Britain jersey and playing for my country.
Nice. It's just very exciting. I'm excited to see the future for you both. And while we're on that, where do you guys see yourselves in a couple seasons or years? I know it's hard to probably think about. I'll start with you, Deanna. What's next? What can we follow? What can your fans expect?
I don't know. Right now, I'm with the London Lions, and I'm just trying to do my best here and try to do great things here. Take it one day at a time. I can't really dictate my future right now, but I try to do well here and see what happens,
I like that. Any hobbies, DeAndre, that you're getting into while you're over there? That you maybe make a career? Clothing, nothing.
I'm a fashionable guy, so I'm trying to get into fashion,
All right. Well, make sure. Hopefully somebody heard that. Maybe they'll try to team up with you, partner with you, so we have a new clothing line maybe or something dropping soon. What about you, Byron? I know we know you.
I'd be interested to see how many bags DeAndre brought, because I swear every day this got something new on. He had on some Louis Vuitton sneakers yesterday. I'm like, what the hell? So,
5 years old.
No, man, no. From the NBA money, huh? No. Like DeAndre said, I don't. We obviously want to play till the wheels fall off, until our body tells us to stop. And DeAndre, I believe, is 32. I'm 31, and we're getting there. We're getting to that point of our career that we either have to have it figured out, or we better get it figured out now what we're going to do after basketball. So, the game of basketball, I tell this to kids all the time. It's crazy how this orange little ball can take you around the world and meet new, people, from places that you've never even imagined you would be before. Like, I've played in a country. I played in Abadan, Iran a couple years ago, and never in my lifetime would I ever think I would even step foot in Iran. But and I've met great people there, and China, Japan, South Korea, wherever it may be. So I mean, life after basketball, it can either be still basketball, broadcasting, GM job, front office job, whatever it may be, but it can also be, whatever. I'm looking at, real estate now, and I'm looking at different hobbies to do, just to kind of keep going, keep my mind busy, and really stay young. So I got an 8-year-old, and I got another kid on the way, and I know DeAndre's got a couple too. So we definitely got to stay fit and stay in shape.
For sure. We want lots more great basketball from you all. And I love your answer, Byron. Going off of that, I'll ask you this, DeAndre. What's the most important life lesson you'd say you learned from the game of basketball?
You're going to go through things. You're going to hit adversity. And it's how you stick with it. And when things not going well, how your body language is, how your self-confidence is. Like, I'm a type of person I've probably been waived like 10, 12 times in my career in the NBA, but never doubted myself, not once. It was always, okay, what's next? I go about my life in basketball and on and off the court, basically. So that's dealing with adversity, because things will not go well. And it's how you deal with it when things not going well. So that's my whole about life.
I like that, because adversity, I think it makes us all stronger, and it's something I think that we'll all go through in our lifetimes. Like what you said, what's next? You didn't dwell on that lost opportunity. Byron, anything for you? Most important life lesson that you've learned in the basketball? Yeah,
like DeAndre said, it's just don't take it for granted. I've had an injury back in 2016, I believe it was. I tore my right ACL, and at that moment, you just kind of figure, or think about the importance or what really this game means to you when you have maybe a career-ending injury like that, and just getting through that adversity. And also, I want to talk on the because I believe it's like mental health awareness here this month. So, yeah, for basketball players like us, I mean, we spend a lot of time alone, and at times it can be hard because in that lone time you don't have no one to talk to, you don't have anything to do because you can only play basketball for so much out of the day, right? So you got a 24-hour day, you practice for 2 hours, and you got 22, whatever you may sleep, whatever you got 16 hours to do with the rest of your day. You just got to kind of stay busy with your day. Like DeAndre said, I read a lot of books. I really grow when I'm overseas, looking up stuff, kind of get into more things. And it's tough as basketball players as us because we have so much time on our hands, and depression is a real thing.
Yeah.
Because we'll be sitting here watching TV and a light switch, and then, we may feel down. And I would just say, like, if that's you, just pick up the phone and call somebody, or, go outside and walk around. So it's a real thing, and it needs to be addressed.
I'm so happy you touched on that. And DeAndre, I'll go to you next. How do we break that stigma of mental health, especially when it comes to athletes, right? Because so many people think you guys are supposed to be perfect. They say you guys are making all this money, you're playing the sport you love. How can you guys be depressed, right? You have those naysayers. How do we break that stigma to show you guys are human beings like everybody else and experience the same emotions and thoughts and feelings?
I think the biggest thing is which Kevin Love really touched base because he went through this. It's to pick up the phone and call somebody, get help, because most people is scared to voice how they feel, and they wait for too long. And you, for example, you look at a guy like Delonte West, nobody expect what he's doing now, or because he never got help, and if he did get help, he didn't stick with it and things like that. But you see Mark Cuban with the Dallas Mavericks owner, he's helping them out, and he's doing well now because.
Right.
Most players, like most people, and not just basketball players, it's people in general. It's like they don't reach out when they need help and when they're going through something. So I would say, let's reach out, pick up the phone, and talk to somebody, or get help. That's the big thing.
That's powerful. And just for you both, I'm curious: do the London Lions have any programs in place for you all to help with mental health for you guys, like any counselors or anything like that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, just
not that we know of yet. But I'm sure. I mean, like Vince, like I said earlier, Vince is a great guy. I'm sure if we reached out to Vince, he would get back to us within the hour on something if we needed it.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And again, I appreciate you both touching on that. I'm so happy you brought that up, Brian, because it is very, very important. I know we also saw that in the bubble. With Paul George's comments. And again, some people were just like, well, how can you guys be depressed? And I think people, again, forget you guys are these great athletes. We all wish we had your talents. We don't, but you guys are still human beings at the end of the day. Just a lot taller and more athletic, right? But you're still human. And it's important to touch on. So I appreciate you both. I wish you guys both just the best of success. And before I let you go, I do want to get your thoughts on this last topic. We see more players now opting to play overseas, right? College isn't always now that first choice to develop the skills. And I want to ask you both, if you had a chance to go back, would you still go to college and play basketball, or do you think you might went overseas knowing what you know now? I'll start with you. Right?
I would say I didn't have kids then, so I would probably still go to Kentucky and play and do all that great stuff. But, most people, what's going on today is like, okay, we're not getting paid. It's a big issue with getting paid and not getting paid.
Yeah.
The school using the kid's name to get paid and et cetera, et cetera. But so it's easy for a kid to not go to college and go overseas and get paid, or use his name to get paid and stuff like that. But in my opinion, I would go to school and do all the great stuff and enjoy college.
And should college athletes be paid, DeAndre, in your opinion?
Yes. To this day, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
In today's world, yes.
All right. Appreciate you touching on that. And Byron, same question for you first.
How much time you got? No. I listen, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I love my time at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I committed when I was in the 9th grade, and I was on campus every day from the day I was a freshman in high school to the day I was a freshman in college. So, but with that being said, if I could redo it, I wouldn't just go over just for college. I would probably go over when I was 15 years old and play basketball, because you see guys like, for a perfect example, Luka Doncic, who's been playing in Madrid, Spain since he was 15 years old.
Right.
And what he's doing now. I mean, he's 20-some years old playing against grown men, and he's just making it look easy.
Yeah.
And so I think obviously, you get the people say, "Oh, I'll go to college," but you get the people like Elon Musk, who is saying, "I don't need a degree. I just need the people working for me to have a degree," right? So there's also that. I mean, this topic can go on for hours if you really want to talk about it, but no, I mean, like I said, if I could redo it, I would go overseas and play, from probably my sophomore year, my junior year of high school.
Wow. Yeah. And the same question for you, Byron. Should we pay our college athletes over here? Do they deserve to get paid?
I think they do. That's a tricky question too, because then you would have colleges who could pay kids more. Yeah. And then you would get, like, for example, the New York Yankees in college, right? So you would basically be buying championships. To a certain extent, college athletes are pretty much paid, because like a school like Kentucky or Ohio State, where your scholarship is, $50,000-$60,000 a year.
Yeah. And
for someone to have a full ride for 4 years, there's your $60,000 a year, do the math. So, at Ohio State, we got, when I left, kids were allowed to move off campus, which you kind of got money to pay for your place, whatever. But it's a tough situation, because then you would have these athletes going to the bigger schools who could pay more money, right? Yeah. You wouldn't have the smaller D1 schools or whoever, then it would be just completely shut down. You would have the big schools like Duke, Kentucky, obviously, North Carolina. The list goes on and on of these big schools who can pay more money. So then it's a subject of, okay, what's the cap, right? So now you're looking at, what's the cap you can pay these guys, and then it's like, not just the big schools, like, Ohio State's a really big football school. Right. So does that mean someone on the shooting team is getting paid the same as much as the quarterback for Ohio State? The list goes on and on of topics that you can bring up, but I don't know. It's tough. So like I said, we can talk about this for days, but that's my 2 cents on it. So
I appreciate you both touching on that. You guys both came from great schools. While we're on that point, have you guys been following your colleges? Obviously, Ohio State, I know they're waiting to play football. Kentucky, right? See a championship?
Yeah, I keep in tune. Always.
Yeah.
DeAndre, for Kentucky, if we have basketball this year, fingers crossed, college basketball.
Yes, I think it will go. I think it will be a go. Yeah.
I like that. And Ohio State, maybe basketball, maybe football. Who knows, right?
Yeah, football is supposed to start, I believe, this weekend. I'm not really sure. I mean, Big Ten football is taking over the game. I mean, we took a lot of school. I think Big East kind of joined the Big Ten a couple years ago. So it's kind of, I was talking to my Ohio State basketball coach a few months ago, and he's kind of saying, because of, Ohio State program, we have 36 programs in our school, and the next highest to our school is 22. And our football team pretty much pays for all those extra sports. And he's like, man, if we don't have football, we're going to have to cancel a lot of sports in our program. Yeah. So Ohio State football pays for a lot of things that go on at Ohio State. So hopefully football season goes, and obviously not just football and basketball, but hopefully all these kids get to play. Yeah. Because if they don't, what happens? Like Joey Burrow said, he's like, man, if COVID happened last year, I'll be looking for a job instead of being a number 1 pick. Right. And that's something that you do. Like, what about these seniors? Do they automatically get a red shirt if they miss a year? What happens to these seniors in high school? Do they get a whole nother year to redo and become like a 5th-year senior to get scholarships? Because I don't know. I mean, you got guys like Russell Westbrook, who was ranked really low in high school and got a scholarship to go to UCLA and play behind Darren Collison his first year. And look at the star he turned into. It's kind of like that. What if you have this, this sleeper guy in high school who could break out and be a future, athlete that is now has to deal with this. Yeah.
No, because we can't. I mean, scouts can't see them and stuff like that. So it's very tough.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm sure you guys are both happy you're not in college right now. I can't imagine, like you said, those seniors, you feel for them. It's like, you want to play the game safe, but I completely hear what you both are saying. getting those looks and stuff, especially as we're about to prepare for the NBA draft, right? And of course, that's even been different.
Yeah.
So just so many thoughts. Actually, before I let you go, while we're on that, favorite NBA draft memory. I'll start with you, Byron.
Oh man, I was draft memory. I don't know, probably just so my agent called me and said, you're being picked number 24 to Dallas Mavericks. And growing up, that was my favorite team, because I idoled Dirk Nowitzki. And at that time, they had a really good team with Michael Finley, Steve Nash. So when I heard that, I was like, heck yeah, like let's go. And he's like, well, don't get too happy because they're trading you to Oklahoma City. They're just drafting you because Chicago Bulls was at 26. So they kind of like just went up and switched draft. Switch draft picks, sorry. And then about 15 minutes later, Sam Presti, Troy Weaver, they get on the phone like, hey, get your stuff ready. We're sending you on a jet tomorrow to come down here. It's just everything just kind of happened so fast. So that was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. DeAndre, what about you?
2011, we had a hotel party. Very, very scary moment for me. I won the first round pick like Byron. But
yeah.
Second round, I was 53, second round, and every pick was so scary for me. It was just so like scary, and I just wanted to hear my name called because I knew I was going to do the rest as far as like staying in the league for a long amount of time and stuff like that. But it was scary. But when I heard my name called, it was a relief, and it was a great feeling. So it was during the blackout year also, so it was kind of tough. But it was a great feeling. I just felt blessed, and I felt like all my hard work paid off.
I love that. That's the feeling you get, right? You put all that work in, then you get drafted. It's a special feeling. So what advice would you give to the guys currently preparing for this year's NBA draft? DeAndre, I'll start with you.
They got a little amount of time to show what they can do based on highlights and scouts that I already seen them before the season got shut down. But that's whatever they do, NBA Combine, let's go hard. Because the scouts know what you can do, but they see what else you can do, that can help their team. So let's go all out and let's play hard. That was my thing.
Yeah. Byron, any advice for the youngins?
Yeah, there's a lot of things go into it. I remember my first workout was against Cleveland, and the scouts came up to me, and these guys, I tell you what, they know everything about you from the time you were born to the time you got there. And I'm like, what the hell? How do you know this? So some of my advice would be keep your nose clean as possible. Don't be posting stuff that you don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
During the draft workouts that you're in, be the first person that steps up and goes through a workout. Because, that's one thing that my first workout in Cleveland, I was maybe shy of being the first person to step up and do a drill. And that's one thing that, they told me, like, hey, step up, be, kind of be the leader in this workout. But not only on the court, because, that's what you're about. You're an athlete. That's what you do.
Right.
I think the most important thing really is this right here, talking to them. Right. So I remember my first real interview I had was with the Chicago Bulls. They sent me in the middle of a room, and I've got 20 people circled around me, and I'm literally just sweating because I've never done an interview before. And these guys are asking me questions that I can answer, but this, like I said, it's my first interview. I'm stuttering on stuff. I'm not looking people in the eye. I'm looking around the room. If I could redo it and answer the questions the right way, I wish I would, I wish I could, but, be prepared to talk and talk to people and look them in the eye and just relax really. And that's because they told me, this is the most important thing is the process. Because when I was in Chicago for the combine, you went from one room to the next room to the next room. So by the time you got to your 15th interview, you had your whole thing down. So, practice your interviews before you even get there. That way you have them down packed before you go into your first one.
I like that. Very good advice from two NBA. I'm going to say two basketball greats. Two basketball greats. You guys are still young. We're so excited to see what you all still have in the future. I truly appreciate you for joining me here on Listening with KNN. Before I let you guys go, just any last word for the fans and listeners out there? I'll start with you, Byron, on this one.
Oh, thanks for having us on. This is big for us as well. But no, hopefully, right now we have a season. October 30th is when we start. I know it sucks that our fans can't be there, but you can still be there for us. I mean, we're all checking Instagram every day. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it might be. So we see the love and support that our fans are giving us by even, maybe tagging us on your story and us re-tagging it, and just communicate with us. All the guys on our team is easy to talk to, and just send us a message on Instagram or whatever it may be, and we'll talk back to you, and because we need that as well. We need that support.
Right. I like that. Support them, you all. You heard it. He said he's giving you permission to tag him in stories, send him a message, a DM, an appropriate one. And of course, he'll get back. DeAndre, what about you? Any last words?
Thanks for having me on the show. It's been great. We need all the support we need. London Lions fans. We're going to do great things this year. I know we're going through the worst right now with the COVID, with no fans, but we need our fans to support us big time, and we'll do the rest.
I like that. Support the London Lions, and I know you guys also have the Women's British Basketball League, so also support the females, the ladies.
That's right.
So it's been great.
Yep.
Thank you both for joining. Truly appreciate your time. I know it's late there, so I'll let you guys relax and be with your families today. But thanks again so much for joining. Appreciate you both.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Great one. Bye.
Bye, Byron.
See you, DeAndre.
All right. Special thanks to DeAndre Liggins and Byron Mullens for joining me here on Listen In with KNN. It's been so much fun. Thank you all again for joining. We'll be back next Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. You guys know the drill. And of course, Saturday at 2 p.m. And I'll also be dropping 2 audio versions of the show, podcast versions of the show. So make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. I'm Kelsey Nicole Nelson. I'll let you guys get back to your college football Saturday, and also Washington football team. You guys know I work with them as well. Just dropped 2 new shows, The Fit. Make sure to check that out, as well as The Life. Special thanks to Tim Settle and Jimmy Moreland for joining me on those shows. And of course, also there's a replay of Washington Unfiltered tonight on NBC Sports Washington. Appreciate the support. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. And of course, yes, please wear your face mask. And of course, please support the London Lions basketball team. All right. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at @TheRealKNelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
You used to hear me on your airwaves or hear me on my hit podcast, but now I'm taking you to the screen. You'll love Elevator Thoughts. We will talk the latest trending in sports. It's game time. What better way to get to know those that visit the show than over some good food and drink? It's time for confessions.